Hi there, my name is Tim Schmidt. I'm the president and founder of the USCCA, and I have to tell you, I'm super excited to be with a very special guest today. In the world of Facebook, Second Amendment, pro-freedom, in that world, this guy is a freaking rock star. And so please help me welcome Graham Allen. Graham?
Thank you for having me, sir.
Thanks for being here,
Glad to
man.
be here. Thanks.
Excellent. Well, I was reading the About section of your website. I figured, hey, that's a pretty good place to start, right? That's where you're going to
place to start.
You're going to put all the good stuff there, right?
Yeah, hopefully. There's not a lot, but
so Graham, one of the quotes there said, "The daily rants are the product of 30 years of simply growing up and experiencing life." So tell me, what does that mean? Tell me about that.
I think that I write a lot of things when I'm in a certain place in my head, I guess, and where I was when I wrote that is I got to thinking about who I am, who I've been, and what I want to be, I guess. And so, I haven't always been this person that people, see online. I haven't always been this, in your face kind of person. And I contribute who I am now to not only my family, but people I met along the way in the military, good and bad pieces of people or myself that, you take and, give back and whatnot through the years. So that's what I meant, 30 years of just going through life, meeting good people, meeting bad people, and taking what I wanted to take from that to grow myself. And here we are, so that's
Awesome.
That's kind of that.
Well, I got to tell you, so I remember maybe a couple months ago, or I guess really I can't remember when it was, but roughly a couple months ago, when our social media team, they're like, "Tim, you got to check out this guy." He's a Facebook, YouTube sensation. He's just, he's really got a powerful following, and he really seems to be in line with the USCCA principles. And I'm like, I watched a couple of your videos.
Oh no!
I'm like, really? But I got to tell you, what you put together is fantastic. And so, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome, man. But secondly, how did you? What inspired this? Was there some sort of event that just got this going, or what was it?
That's probably the most common question I get is, how did you start doing this thing? I wish that it was some glorious story to tell you, but it's kind of humorous. An elderly woman ran me off the road one day. And so I made this little 15-second little video on Instagram, and that was it. That started the rants. At the time, I had no followings. The daily rant wasn't a thing, but I got like 12 comments on the video, and I was like, yes, this is, I'm on to something here. And so I just kept doing it, and and then slowly but surely it started evolving into what it is now. And so that's it. That's the whole story. That's how it started.
Wait a second. So you said you wish you had a better story? Man, you got ran off the road by a grandma?
Yeah. Well,
that's a great story.
I guess I wish I could say that I was in a coma and I woke up and knew that this was what I was supposed to do. But that's it. An elderly woman. I wish I knew who she was. I could thank her, I suppose.
So I'm sure along the way, in the beginning, of course, just like everything that's worth doing in life, it's rough, right? Mm-hmm. So at what point did you realize, whoa, I think I've got something special here?
Well, the first couple of, I guess you could say, months before my first viral hit, I guess you could say, I was making these videos where, this grown man, and I was still in the military at the time. Okay. These screaming videos and stuff, and my family and friends were just going, "What are you doing?" Because you're acting like a fool on the internet, and so I give it to them because I was getting like maybe 1,000 views at the time. Okay. So it was ridiculous. I will say that when I realized that I was onto something, it was probably the 4th or 5th viral video. They started off just humorous, no real point to them at all, just being funny. Okay. Bad drivers, fitness people, and then the very first video I did about a year ago about Colin Kaepernick kneeling for the national anthem. I made a video about that, and that was the very first time that I made a video about something relevant. And when I got the reactions back from people, that's when this whole Dear America, this whole, I guess you could say, rant, movement, I guess you could say, started, was about that time frame.
Wow. I guess that makes sense. That was a big deal.
Yeah, and so...
good for you for taking the right position.
Well, it was met with a lot of opposition at first. People, the biggest thing that I've learned about this is you've got to be willing to take all the praises with the, for every one praise, there's 10 people that, can't stand me, and, death threats and things like that come along with it. And so, but I consider it a responsibility now to say what I think, say what I feel, and just get it out there. And
you know what, Graham, that's a great way to look at it in terms of a responsibility. You're going to stick your head up, no matter what topic it is, you're going to get beat down. So, so good
correct.
for you.
Well, thank you.
I congratulate for doing that. So, okay, so you talked about, hey, this is where I think I've got something great. What's been the biggest surprise over the genesis of this? I mean, what's the one thing that, like, man, I can't believe it?
I guess I could say the responses from everybody. Yeah, one thing that I've learned about all this, and I haven't even been doing this a whole year yet, is I've met all these other people in the same world that I'm in now, all the other social media stars that everybody knows, and what I've learned is that this whole thing is a business, just like anything else. And the biggest thing that I will say is the shock to me is the response, the back end response to everything that we do. So, for example, you have other social media stars that have these viral videos all the time, much like myself. But the return on investment, I guess you could say, is there's no new likes, there's no new follows, there's no new this. The biggest thing I've noticed about this idea of a daily rant, this guy that just says what everybody wants to say, people respond to that. And so with every video, there is just this huge influx of new people that come to the page. And so we grow every single time. With every video, we average between about 20 to 40,000 new likes on every video that we do. Not on the video, but for the page.
Sure.
Which everyone tells me that's kind of the unheard of part that's going on right now, is the rate of growth. It's just everybody seems to be buying in on this thing. So that's probably the most wow thing that's happening right now.
It's got to be a good feeling.
Well, they either like me or they really enjoy making fun of me, one of the two. So.
So over the course of your entire life, who's been the biggest mentor?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I was raised by my grandparents.
Okay.
And so, that's something that I don't talk about a whole lot. So I didn't have the typical, nuclear family and things like that.
Sure. Yep.
And so I will say that in the typical sense of it, my grandparents, I was raised very much the old school way. I was raised like it was 1940. That's my joke that I like to tell everybody. Granddaddy telling me to go get a switch, and pick it out myself and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of my videos talk about that. But I will say that my biggest influence now, or I try to associate myself with people that I think are better than me, better than myself. And so I've been fortunate enough to meet some people in my life that are people that I kind of want to be like one day. And so I try to model myself after those people that I feel have it more figured out than I do. Smart. And so, family, business, all the above.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, I hate to throw too many curveballs at you, but
Okay.
I got one more.
All right, here we go.
So because this is a question that a lot of people really like to learn about. So back to your grandparents, if they were in the formative years, these were the influencers, what was the number one thing that they taught you?
My grandfather, I'm from Mississippi, so we're not eloquent in the way that we speak a lot of things. But my granddaddy, my granddaddy, I call him Paul. He always used to tell me over and over and over again. He would say two things. He would either say, Graham, you're about 70% there. And then a month later, he'd come back and go, you're about 65% there. And I would always want to know how I lost percentages and things like that. But the biggest thing that he would say is Graham, I don't care if you're broke as you can be. I don't care if you're as ugly as a mule, just as long as you're good in what you do. Right. And so, he just would bang that in every couple weeks. He would just always repeat it over and over and over and over again. And I don't know if it's just simply because he was older that he just maybe forgot that he, kept telling me that again and again. But that always stuck with me, that at the end of the day, if I fall flat on my face doing this, and I make no money out of it and I have to go back to work at Verizon one day or something like that, at least I can say that I know that I did it because I thought that it's what I was supposed to be doing, kind of thing. So,
all right, awesome. So I feel pretty confident that a lot of people will watch this interview and they'll be like, "Holy cow! I'd love to be just like that Graham Allen guy." You know,
I don't know.
He goes on in his truck and just screams about stuff, and he's making money. And holy cow, what a fun thing.
Yeah.
But of course, you know that anyone that has had any level of success, a lot of times, you just have to start.
Yes,
right? You just got to
correct.
put your first foot out there and then do it again and again and again and kind of get beat down and suck it up. And
right.
So I respect the fact that you've been through a heck of a process. So in that, I'm going to get to the question eventually here.
Yeah.
So what of all this that's going on right now, what's your favorite part? Other than this interview, what's your favorite part?
My favorite part is the part that I never expected. Like, I guess I didn't really know what I wanted when I started making these videos, right? I mean, who knew that any of this would happen? But I especially did not expect for people to look at me, I guess, if that makes sense. You know, I guess I always thought that they would see the video and they'd think it was funny or relevant. I didn't expect for, there to be 4-hour lines when I have meet and greets and stuff like that. That's the part that I didn't expect. And what I've learned is, it goes back to that responsibility, is I've learned that people are watching me now, and they're watching because they believe in what I'm saying or this and that. And I don't think that I speak for anyone, but if people can use what I say because they feel that way too, and it's their way to say what they want to say, but they can't. There's a lot of people that are in job positions where they can't say what they want to say, or even relationally. That right now in our country, there's even husbands and wives, brothers and sisters that are so divided just on political terms alone that they feel that they can't say it out loud because of repercussions. That's the position that I've been thrusted into, and now that I stand in is, I'll say it. I'll say what it is that you really want to say, and I'll take the heat for it, but it, can become this thing. So
awesome. That's perfect. And actually, that's a perfect segue into, I guess, the final thing that I want to say here today is,
okay.
So in the process of reading that About You page, the very last thing on the sheet says, just like you said, to those who can't, I'll say it for you. Now, when I read that, I got goosebumps. and for me, that's always been a good indicator of, hey man, that came from the heart, and it's really what he meant, and that's powerful stuff. So
yeah.
So I love that perspective. I love that that's the favorite part. I love connecting with other humans. To you is a favorite part. And I guess all I'll say is, on behalf of the USCCA family, we're super pumped that you're with us.
I'm glad to be here.
I'm super impressed with your willingness to stick your head up and kind of be vulnerable and get beat down, but ultimately be an inspiration to people all across the country, man. So
thank you,
congratulations, welcome, and a pleasure to meet you. Folks, please share, like this video, and scroll down a bit, put a comment. Now, obviously, it's going to be a positive comment, but please do that. So thanks again, Graham.
Thank you, sir.
Everyone out there, take care and stay safe.